Good morning, everyone. I'm Jinyu from Shandong Normal University in China. Unfortunately, I'm unable to be there to share my article with you due to some reasons. Let me thank the conference for the invitation to show you my results. The title of my article is The Construction of the Happiness Model of Music Teachers in Primary and Secondary Schools in China, and the Exploration of the Improvement Paths under the New Liberal Arts. First of all, I'd like to explain to you the genesis of my research. The first is a demand for art education in the new era. As a graduate student in the new era, I clearly feel the impact and changes brought to us by the times, such as the new liberal arts development strategy proposed by China in 2018. The concepts of disciplinary integration and problem orientation put forward by the new liberal arts have caused a great transformation of the current academic environment and educational environment, and have played a certain guiding role in the development of the new liberal art. The new liberal arts has been a major change in the current academic and educational environment, and has played a certain role in orientation. At the same time, it also has many effects on the mechanism of talent cultivation. With the rapid development of China's economy and the continuous improvement of living standards, the state and the Ministry of Education have given higher connotations to basic aesthetic education, and accordingly there are higher requirements for national basic aesthetic education into the new era. Secondly, there is a national emphasis on aesthetic education. For example, in May 2022, China promulgated the Compulsory Education Art Curricula Standard, and the state also proposed to add the subject of aesthetic education in the secondary school examination, a series of initiatives for music teachers to put forward higher requirements. The President of the People's Republic of China, Mr. Xi Jinping, mentioned in the General Assembly the need to make the people's sense of gain and happiness more fulfilling and secure. Teachers' well-being not only affects their own quality of life and professional development, but also the future development of their students, as well as the sustainability of the education system, and the transformation of academic environments and educational methods will inevitably have a number of impacts on primary and secondary school music teachers. The insurance of various national policies and documents reflects the increasing importance that the state and the Ministry of Education attach to the art curriculum, which is not only for students, but also a test for teachers. They not only need to have deep cultural knowledge bases and excellent professional skills, but also require them to have enough time and full of energy to carry out educational and teaching activities. Therefore, I would like to focus on the issue of the current state of happiness of primary and secondary school music teachers. Based on the previous literature research, I categorize the specific happiness of primary and secondary school music teachers into 6 dimensions, which are cognitive happiness, occupational nobleness, sense of work efficacy, physical and mental well-being, sense of gain satisfaction, sense of social support, and put forward the following 3 hypotheses. 1. Physical and mental well-being has an impact on work efficacy. 2. Gain satisfaction has an impact on physical and mental well-being. 3. Sense of social support impacts on job efficacy, where gain satisfaction has an effect on job efficacy through physical and mental well-being, which at this point serves as a mediating variable. After determining the scene and dimensions, I used the questionnaire in the form of a 5-point Likert scale to conduct an online questionnaire survey of 133 primary and secondary school music teachers in Shandong province, of which 50.68% were secondary school teachers. Elementary school teachers accounted for 49.32%. After obtaining the data, they were analyzed for reliability and validity using SPSS software to determine the valid samples. Next, the data were composed into a structural equation model by the dimensions involved through AMO software, repeatedly calibrated, and finally form the model shown in the figure below. From the fitting indices of model, all indices are within a reasonable range, proving that the model has a good fit. The 3 assumptions in the previous section are valid. Through the survey on the happiness of music teachers in primary and secondary schools, we conclude that the average value of the overall happiness in the current environment of aesthetic education is 3.73 points, with the equivalent to 74.6 of the percentile system, which is at the middle level, and they are basically satisfied with the current situation, but they have not yet reached the standard of happiness. The reasons for this are mainly in the following 4 areas. Number 1. Negative impact of educational evolution. The importance placed on scores by schools and parents is creating negative feelings among students. But it is also affecting music teachers in primary and secondary schools. More than 80% of music teachers work multiple jobs. More than 15% believe that they are currently unable to juggle work and family well. Nearly half believe they have very little time off to organize their lives outside of work. And this is the number 1 reason for the negative impact on them. Number 2. Implementation of aesthetic education in secondary school examinations. It allows them to show their talents, but at the same time, they are concerned that the students' musical quality varies, and they may have to work several times harder than before to meet the requirements of aesthetic education in a short time. At the same time, they also have to take into account the characteristics of aesthetic education and deal with the relationship between exams and education, scores and education, which is in contrast to the previous working atmosphere and workload. Number 3. Implementation of the double reduction policy. Double reduction policy means opinions on further reducing the burden of homework on compulsory education students and the burden of out-of-school training. In the expert's view, the double reduction is in fact the double increase of the aesthetic education. The primary and secondary schools to open the after-school extended class, weakening the competition of out-of-school tutoring organizations. At the same time, the school teacher group and put forward higher requirements. The competition from outside tutoring organizations is weakened, and at the same time, higher demands are made on the school teacher community. The fact that music teachers have multiple jobs also makes it difficult for them to take care of their careers and families. Number 4. Misalignment of remuneration with workload. Entry of few years of young music teacher salary is basically about 3,000 yuan. More than 65% of teachers' monthly income of 5,000 yuan or less. Barely to achieve the income and expenditure equal, workload and pay the start construct, so that they feel drained from it, fatigue, produce lack mentality, and in the long run, the sense of well-being will also decline. Accordingly, the following points are made. 1. Achieving subject and teacher balance. The current recruitment phenomenon seems to be music teacher positions are often less than a few main courses, ignoring the particularity of music as a theoretical and technical subject, ignoring the importance of its aesthetic education for students. Therefore, giving equal status to music subject and music teachers is the first step. 2. Creating a good working environment. Relevant departments, schools can provide teachers with relevant stress relief, psychological counseling, and guidance. For the special nature of the music teacher group, the school can also be concerts, cultural performances, rehearsals contained in the amount of class time for music teachers. Make it match the high intensity work for them to create a good working environment. In addition, society, schools, and parents should also be more understanding of the teacher group. Too much attention and evaluation will disrupt the teacher's thinking, interfere with their normal teaching work. 3. Attention to teachers' demands. Their main demands at the moment lie in having enough time to organize their scientific work and private time to run their families and spend time with their children. Sufficient salary to support the needs of material life. In short, in the current situation of increasing competition in education, this negative impact also spears to the teacher group, which has a certain impediment to the further development of Chinese education, the development of society, the progress of education. As a future music educator, in the study of teaching work at the same time, more attention should be paid to the primary and secondary school music teachers as a group of current situation of life. The current situation of work, which is a source of the development of China's aesthetic education. My presentation ends here. Thank you for listening. Please criticize and correct me if there are any inaccuracies. Here's my personal email address. I'm happy to communicate with you. Thank you.